Hi everyone, welcome back. As a doctor who specializes in internal medicine, pulmonary disease, and critical care, I'm gonna be sharing with you 9 nuts that you should stop eating if you are a senior. And let me tell you why. Now, many of these nuts can be eaten by younger people, but for seniors, they may cause some issues. Why? Because almonds, they contain a number of things that can actually harm your body. They can increase your blood pressure and increase your risk for heart disease. They have omega-3 fatty acids. They have vitamin E, and they also have a number of antioxidants. And omega-3 fatty acids. But the problem with flax seeds is that your body cannot absorb the fat in flax seeds unless you grind them up first. It's a very convenient snack, but the problem with trail mix is that it's very high in calories. In addition, pistachios contain a number of allergens, including tree nut allergens. Pistachios also contain a compound called myricetin, which has been shown to inhibit the absorption of certain medications, such as warfarin, digoxin, and simvastatin. And seeds that are roasted or salted, and they were typically high in calories, saturated fat, and sodium. Fruits and vegetables, they're high in nutrients, and they're low in calories. They also contain a lot of fiber, vitamins, and minerals that can help to keep you healthy as you age. And as I mentioned earlier, this can lead to weight gain and other chronic medical conditions. If you want to learn more about nutrition and healthy eating, please visit the website. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. This can lead to decreased effectiveness of these medications, which can be dangerous for you. If you're taking any of these medications, then you should avoid pistachios altogether. A typical serving of trail mix, which is about 1 ounce, can have anywhere between 200 to 400 calories. Now, Brazil nuts are high in selenium, which is good for your health. Selenium is an essential trace mineral that plays a role in many important functions in your body, including thyroid hormone metabolism, DNA synthesis, and immune function. However, Brazil nuts also contain a number of anti-nutrients, including phytic acid, lectins, and saponins. In addition, Brazil nuts are high in saturated fat. They also contain a number of allergens. And Brazil nuts also contain a compound called hydrocyanic acid, which is toxic in large amounts. So, if you're going to eat Brazil nuts, make sure that you practice portion control and limit yourself to 1 or 2 per serving. This can lead to weight gain, which again increases your risk for diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic medical conditions. Trail mix is also high in sodium, and this can worsen fluid retention and increase your risk for stroke and cardiovascular disease. In addition, some trail mixes contain chocolate or other sugary snacks, which can increase your risk for tooth decay. If you're going to eat trail mix, make sure that you practice portion control. You want to limit yourself to a small handful, which is about 1/4 cup. You also want to make sure that you read choosing a trail mix that is low in sugar and salt. Look for a trail mix that has no added sugar and no more than 100 milligrams of sodium per serving. Flax seeds, they come in 2 varieties, whole flax seeds and ground flaxseed. Whole flax seeds pass through your system without being absorbed, and they won't provide you with any of the nutrients that are inside of those seeds. So if you do decide to eat flax seeds, make sure you grind them up before eating them so your body can absorb the nutrients. So 1 tablespoon of flaxseed contains about 8 grams of fiber, 2.7 grams of protein, 4 grams of fat, and 31 calories. Ground flax seeds, on the other hand, they're easier to digest and they're easier for your body to absorb. In fact, when you grind flax seeds, the oils are released, and this makes it easier for your body to absorb the nutrients in the seeds. So remember, if you're going to eat flax seeds, make sure you grind them up first. But there are some concerns when it comes to eating walnuts, especially for people who have a walnut allergy. Now, nut butters are made by grinding up nuts into a smooth or a creamy consistency. Some of the most popular nut butters are peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, pecan butter, and walnut butter. But here's the thing, nut butters. They high in saturated fat, and they can increase your blood pressure and your risk for heart disease. They're also high in calories. And again, if you're eating too many calories, you can gain weight, which puts you at risk for diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic medical conditions. This is not good for your overall health. Also, many nut butters, especially peanut butter, they contain a lot of sugar and salt. For example, 1 tablespoon of peanut butter can have up to 8 grams of sugar and 140 milligrams of sodium. So, if you do decide to eat nut butter, make sure that you read the label and look for nut butter that is low in sugar and salt. I recommend that you choose a nut butter that has no added sugar and no more than 100 milligrams of sodium per serving. In fact, tree nut allergies, including walnut allergies, they affect 1.2 million children and 5.7 million adults in the United States alone. Symptoms of a walnut allergy can range from mild to severe. They include hives, swelling of the lips or tongue, difficulty breathing, and even anaphylaxis. Now, if you're concerned that you might have a walnut allergy, then it's best to see an allergist and get tested. The good news is that walnuts are a low-calorie snack, and they can help you feel full while consuming few calories. They're also high in fiber and omega-3 fatty acids, which can improve heart health. However, as I said earlier, they do have some anti-nutrients. So if you do decide to eat walnuts, make sure that you soak them overnight or steam them before eating. This can reduce the amount of anti-nutrients and make it easier for your body to absorb the nutrients in the walnuts. Also, be careful of the type of walnut that you're eating. Black walnuts have been shown to have more toxins than other types of walnuts. So if you're going to eat walnuts, make sure that you're eating the English walnut. In addition, cashews are high in sodium. This can worsen fluid retention and increase your risk of stroke and cardiovascular disease. Studies show that consuming too much sodium can increase your blood pressure and increase your risk for cardiovascular disease. In fact, the American Heart Association recommends that adults consume less than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, preferably no more than 1,500 milligrams per day. Most people, they don't realize how much sodium they're getting on a daily basis. They're getting it from lots of different sources. But if you're going to eat cashews, make sure they're unsalted cashews. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it contains a lot of saturated fat and trans fat. And also be careful about how many cashews you're eating, because they're high in calories. If you're eating too many cashews, you can gain weight, which increases your risk for diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic medical conditions. They have a lot of fat. These types of fats can raise your blood pressure and increase your risk of heart disease. So we want to avoid things like raw almonds or anything that has a lot of saturated fat and trans fat. It's also important to realize that almonds contain a number of anti-nutrients. These are substances that prevent your body from absorbing nutrients from the food that you eat. One of the most common anti-nutrients found in almonds is phytic acid. Phytic acid binds to minerals such as iron, zinc, and magnesium, preventing your body from absorbing them. This can lead to deficiencies in these minerals, especially if you're already having a hard time absorbing them, which a lot of us do when we get older. So if you're a diabetic or if you have some kidney problems, then you may have a harder time absorbing these minerals. If you're a senior, you're at risk for being deficient in minerals, vitamin B, and even vitamin E. So we want to make sure that we're not introducing foods into our diet that will prevent our body from absorbing the nutrients that it needs. Another problem with raw almonds is that they contain a compound called amygdalin, which can be converted into cyanide in the body. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't eat almonds altogether, but if you do eat them, make sure you soak them overnight first. Soaking almonds can reduce the amount of phytic acid, cyanide, and other antinutrients. You can also buy blanched almonds, which means that the skin has been removed from the almond, which can help to reduce the amount of anti-nutrients. So again, don't stay away from almonds altogether, but try soaking them overnight or buying the blanched almonds to reduce those anti-nutrients. Because we have certain conditions that make it where we need to watch what we eat more carefully. And so I'm going to talk about that in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. No, one is raw almonds. Now, this is not necessarily all almonds, but raw almonds. Now, trail mix is a mixture of nuts, seeds, and sometimes dried fruit. No. 2 is salted cashews. Now, cashews, they're high in saturated fat just like almonds. Number 3 is walnuts. Now, walnuts have a lot of great things in them. Number 4 is flax seeds. Now, flax seeds are high in fiber, which is good for your heart health and digestive health. No. 5 is nut butters. No. 6 is trail mix. No. 7 is pistachios. Pistachios, they're high in calories. They're high in saturated fat. They also contain a number of anti-nutrients. No. 8 is Brazil nuts. And no, 9 is mixed nuts. Now, mixed nuts are usually a combination of different nuts. If you're a senior and you're looking for healthy snacks, I would recommend that you eat fruits and vegetables instead. So if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel.